Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I'm going to be disassembling this Kershaw Scallion. Now, when I got this out of the box, it felt a little gritty, felt a little slow, and I'm just going to try and figure out why, but I have to be honest with you, I had already made a disassembly video, and above me, to the left of my phone, I had this next to it, and guess what this causes? Small vibrations. And because of that, I had my whole camera doing this throughout the whole entire video, and I didn't even know about it. So I have already disassembled this. It operates wonderfully. I really like this food safe grease that I got in the mail, and I feel like it's a great product and it's doing a great job, but I already disassembled this, and unfortunately none of the footage was usable. So this is operating really well. I'm happy with it. It was not hard to take apart. So I'm going to get started on the Scallion to see if that is going to be any better. Now, while I take this thing apart, I'm going to kind of use some watchmaking terms, and oh, that's interesting. Is that T9, T10? Okay, so in a lot of the videos I've seen of disassemblies of these, they say these are T6. But this pivot here looks to me like it's going to be a T10. Okay. All right, so the pivot screw is a T10. Not even a T8, it's a T10. That's very interesting. Okay, so here we go. I have no real experience taking apart speed safes. The last one I did was my Kershaw blur, and that blur, you know, I took that apart and you were not able to see the footage because I screwed up. But I have to say it was very easy to do, and I just want to see how horrible this is. Now, I wonder if this is a free spinning pivot. I don't know. I didn't take the pocket clip off. Now, I want to be clear. I am not going to be using any Loctite for this disassembly. I personally, the same goes for the blur. The blur, I just wanted to see if I could do this, if the video would come out good, if it would be fine, and it came out great. And I didn't really want to, I guess, make the disassembly that I did on it permanent with the Loctite. I wanted to be able to take that apart quickly if I had to do it tomorrow, and not have Loctite that is solidified. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to remove the pocket clip. Now, when it comes to watchmaking, we really prioritize where we put every single part and every single screw. And for me, I always put them with where they go or who they pair up with. Now, this is really nice. This is a captured pivot. So this is a very updated Scallion. It's sharing a lot of the updated cues of the older models, but we are gonna now just slide this off. And we're looking at some disgusting looking yellow grease. So here, wow, okay. And this is fresh out of the box, people. This is, I got this in the mail today. This was produced this year. And it is, I mean, yeah, this is great to have, but I mean, I'm also somebody that doesn't want dirty black grease. As you can see, the grease over on my right Okay, that's interesting. It's showing a little bit of wear. Okay, so lock side gets the big washer, okay? So we're gonna have to remember that. Going to push the pivot out. And I got some of that nasty grease on me. And you know what? Let's put some alcohol on this again. I put some alcohol on it for the disassembly of the blur, and now I'm going to just re-soak it in that alcohol to just kind of clean that all off. So that's clean. Now let's remove this smaller washer. I feel like this is going to be a lot easier than the blur. I don't know why, it just feels like it's going to be easier. Maybe it's because I just did this about 30 minutes ago. And that was a real bummer because I actually put some real wisdom in that, you know, some things that would have probably solved world peace in there, you know, and gotten everybody to get along, you know, just things that would have saved the world. But you guys are gonna have to miss out on that. So there we go, there's our wonderful blade. Now this blade is actually made out of 420 HC. So I am very curious to see how Kershaw does their 420 HC. And let's see, they are running the real old school. You know what, I'm gonna just push. Let's just do it this way. Okay, push those screws, grab them, and since it's my knife, I'm not too worried about the scales. Let's just kind of pull that. Wow, that is really caked with a bunch of random looking stuff. Wow, those screws do not look good. Now, regularly, if I was really wanting to get this thing super clean, I would have probably used my ultrasonic machine with some, it's basically some cleaning materials that actually get rid of grease, Loctite, gets rid of a lot of other unwanted things. And I probably would have done that, but that video would have been a video for the ages. So I'm just gonna go at it this way. And I'm hoping I'm not destroying this screw. We're just going to, okay, I'm not. It's just, this is just very dirty. So we have those two screws that go for the scale. We have these two screws that go for the clip. One screw that goes with this pivot. And then we have our two washers, and we have our liner. And then we have a very greasy other scale, which I'm going to now clean. So, you know, I think about Nick Shabazz a lot when he does these things, and now I'm sitting here doing it. And I have to say, it's quite therapeutic. Even though it looks like it's complete pain, you know, this type of stuff can be very therapeutic for a man's mind and can get you off of a hump, you know, in life. It can help you figure out what your issues are and what you need to figure out in life. So you kind of sit here, get away from technology. Of course, I mean, like, I'm using technology to record this, so I mean, there's that. But okay, so we need to kind of remember here that this here kind of goes like that, and it has to go in that, okay? I think that's how that goes. We will figure out. That looks a little more natural, doesn't it? So we're gonna now just kind of clean this off and then clean this shield off. And I have a little bit of grease left from when I did this the first time. Now keep in mind that the screws can go in on this side, okay? And that actually really helps us out while I take a swig of this. That really helps us out because then we can just lay everything on top And then all we have to do is then just lay, as I throw this on there, lay this on top of that. So, but it does not really help us because we have to have this also put in and all that junk. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go about it this way. So I'm going to now just get this, and that looks relatively clean. And I'm just gonna pop that right in there, okay? So we have popped that in there, that's nice and flush, and we are gonna put that down, okay? Now it's flat. Now if we remember correctly, the nice big, and I'm just gonna apply some of this grease for lubrication, this nice big washer is going to go right on this side. And I'm just gonna put some grease all in here because this is going to be a high friction spot, okay? Now in watchmaking, we use many different oils for repairing our customers' watches and our own. And each oil is substantially different. It has a different viscosity, it has a different use, a different reason of being, and because of that, we have to remember where each one of these go. Also, while at the same time remembering basically how much we need to use. Now, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I'm gonna use whatever amount I want because this kind of thing doesn't have to be exact. I know there are tons of avenues of going about it. You can get frog lube, you can get all these different lubes. And for me personally, I just don't see the point. Just get yourself some good food safe grease and mineral oil. Do not be spending a lot of money on all this stuff because guess what? You can spend that money on a new knife. That's right. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, don't buy these expensive oils. Just buy olive oil, food safe oil. And I'm going to just kind of squeeze this in here as it passes and collects in here. And this stuff actually kind of dissipates, okay? Well, I mean, it won't dissipate, it's not gonna evaporate, but what it will do, if I put just a little bit here, you will absorb a little bit of it. But if it just sits here, it's going to just sit there. It's not going anywhere. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do this. Whoop, there it goes. All right, so another thing that I just realized that I'm not doing here, but in watchmaking, I actually used something called finger cots, which kind of look like very small finger condoms. And I'm just gonna apply a little more here just for good measure, just to, make sure it's all gonna stay there. And these finger cots prevent my fingers' oils from getting on the things that are important within the watch, like, and we got some excess there, not excess, that's a mistake, sorry. One of the things that really can cause a problem within a watch is your fingers' oils. These oils can deteriorate a finish, can also cause issues regarding the oils that you may have put in the watch. And you just need to be very mindful of that. But here, our oils are gonna be all over this thing, and really our pockets are not that clean either. So, and then you see here, this goes in like that. And then this one goes in like that. So then the little bar there is held in place. I'm hoping you're seeing that. Maybe I can put it up close. So yeah, it's all like that, all held together. And now, before anything, one of the great things about this knife that I did not like about this one, taking this apart, you have to worry about a blade stop. On this, these are your blade stops, okay? So that kind of gets rid of something that you have to worry about when it comes to disassembling it. and it also gets rid of a step when you're machining this thing. So I guess that's a really cool thing, a really nice thing. And I'm just gonna put some grease over here, which I am just kind of flubbing up, but that's okay, because this is gonna be a high friction area. And I'm just gonna put just maybe a little bit there. Now, I am not going to be putting any like mineral oil on the detent ball track or anything. Honestly, you do not need to do that. That's just for if you really need to get this thing operating perfectly. That's a little extreme to me, okay? For me, it's as long as you have it lubricated, it's not really running dry. I, every once in a while, will drop some mineral oil. And now we just kind of hope for the best here. Now I'm going to just kind of pull this bar up so it kind of meets in the hole it's supposed to go in, and everything else should follow. Okay, so we are now just trying to put this all together. Put this all together. Put this all together, and it looks like I made a mistake. This back piece actually needs to go like this. Okay? So that longer piece is going back there. Okay? So my mistake. And that is one of the reasons why you go slow, you take your time, you do not rush it, because trust me, when you rush things, things go badly. Okay, so we now have this thing together. Now what I'm going to do is what we call in watchmaking, or at least I call it a light assembly. Now this we do during a gear train assembly, which is basically the main gears that run the entire watch. And the gear train assembly is going to be basically, okay, so we've got that's all correct. The gear train basically runs the whole watch, and when you do a light assembly, you are actually just going to be focusing on putting the pinions into where they are supposed to go. Okay, so where they're supposed to go is very important, because if you do not put them right, you're going to bend the pinion or even break it. And trust me, in some of the older watches, that is definitely not good. Okay, so we are looking at that. We're riding pretty thick on the grease. I did add quite a bit of that, but you know what? That should lighten up. It should lighten up. So what I was saying is that we do this so that we can get everything checked, and I am just going to clean this out because I've got some grease oozing out as that tension bar moves around, and that grease is kind of causing a mess in there. That's my fault. That's nobody else's fault. But the reason why we do that is so then everything is going to be perfect when we actually do the final assembly and tightening of everything else. Because trust me, the last thing you want to do when you get something together is break the parts that actually make the thing run. So yeah, be very careful when you're doing this. Make sure everything is going back together the way it should be. And we are not really straight here. We're really favoring the show side, which can be because I don't have this completely tightened down. I have tested everything, and I guess the term we use in watchmaking when we test everything is an end shake. And the end shake is going to be, okay, now I may have put too much grease in this, so it may be just running pretty slow. But the end shake is going to basically test if everything is properly assembled. And basically what I'm doing right now is I am testing it, making sure it's assembled. I probably have screwed up just a little bit by adding too much grease to it. And I am right now just trying to get rid of some of that excess grease that is in here. I could just take this apart, okay? I could just do that. and then just remove some of it. But you know what? I don't think I am. Don't think I am. I'm going to let that work itself out, because it is working itself out. So that is the disassembly and reassembly of the, and I'm going to just get up here so I can get closer to the microphone. That is the disassembly and reassembly of a Kershaw Scallion. And this one is something I recently got in the mail. You know, there we go. I'm also probably putting pressure on that, but it's probably just the grease. I probably put way too much in there. But that is the disassembly of a Kershaw Scallion. And I really hope this helps somebody out in at least understanding mechanics of these things. Now, I personally am probably going to take this down, and I'm probably going to take the grease out of those pivot spots, because I think that is just probably way too much. It's just probably way too much for the knife. Okay, let's see. Tighten that down. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much, but do I want to though? Don't know. Kind of want to just take a toothbrush, kind of clean out the excess, squeeze out whatever I don't need. But yeah, this gives you a good idea of what not to do, I guess. This is my second time, keep in mind, of disassembling a knife. I really do not disassemble my knives all that much. I know how to do it. It's not hard. These things are tools. These things are things that are meant to be used, meant to be, I guess you could say even abused, but they are things that are made for cutting and being used and taken apart. And there are some companies that tell you not to do this, and then there are some that do, and I really respect the ones that really tell you to do it, like Chris Reeve. I mean, Chris Reeve's knives are incredible. I mean, they're just simply incredible knives, but I really can't afford them at this time, at least. So, well, I'll work this out. This will get itself worked out, but it opens, everything's working, but the flipper tab here is just a little gunked, but I will figure that out. So that is my review, well, not really review, but my disassembly of this knife. I hope you guys enjoyed sitting through this and watching me do this and be tortured. But yeah, that is it. So I hope you guys like that. I'm going to fiddle with this just a little bit more, but that's going to be off camera. So till the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.